Fractions. Lesson 1. What are they? What can you do with them? Look at some background knowledge. You've already learned so much in mathematics. You know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. You'll need these skills when working with fractions. Give yourself a pat on the back if you feel confident in your skills. Now, take a look at these fraction strips. What do you notice? You can pause the video here and write a list, then compare it with a friend. Ready? All of the rows, that means across, are the same size. The strips go from big to small. Strips all have the same number on top, the number 1. Number on the bottom equal the number of pieces in each row. Take a look. 1/2, 2/2, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, and so on. Now, take a ruler or your finger and place it up and down or vertically on the left of the page and drag it to the right. When your ruler is touching 1/2, look down. Is it touching any other pieces? Count the pieces in that row. One-half is equal to 2/4. 1/2 is equal to 3/6. 1/2 is equal to 4/8. 1/2 is equal to 5/10. And 1/2 is equal to 6/12. This is also known as equivalent fractions. Some vocabulary for you. A fraction is a part of a whole, a number that expresses equal parts of a whole object or a set of objects. A numerator is the top part of the fraction. It tells you how many pieces you have. The denominator is the bottom part of the fraction. This tells you how many pieces the whole is broken into. But how are you going to remember all of these terms?
Numerator, 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 numerator.
Just like in that clip from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the Nimbus 2000 refers to nimbus clouds that are up in the air, just like your numerator is on the top of your fraction.
Denominator, 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 denominator.
Just like in that song, down, your denominator is down. Think D denominator, D down. Now it's your turn. Circle the correct fraction from the given choices. The first one is done for you. You can see that in the circle there are 8 equal pieces and 4 pieces that are shaded purple. 4 out of 8. Number 2. Good talking through. Are you ready for the answer? There you go. Number 3. Are you ready for your answer? And lastly, number 4. Are you ready for your final answer? And there you have it. Well done. Can fractions ever mean the same thing? You just saw in your fraction strips that 1/2 equals 2/4, 3/6, 4/8, 5/10, and 6/12. Equivalent fractions are fractions that have the same value or represent the same amount. They're equal. Multiply your numerator and denominator by the same number to get an equivalent fraction that is larger. For 1/2, 1 times 2 equals 2, and 2 times 2 equals 4, giving 1/2 equal to 2/4. You can see the same 1/2 times 3 equals 3/6, and so on. Fractions can do so many things. Just as you learned in your story problems, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division have some key words. Let's take a look at this story problem. I've done the answer for you. Gilly and Luke went to the school library one morning. They planned to read books that day and borrow books to read during the winter. Of the 10 books on fairy tales, Gilly borrowed 3. What fraction of the books on fairy tales did she borrow? Ready for your answer? That's right. Gilly borrowed 3 out of the 10 books. The 3 were fairy tales, and the other 10 were different books. In the future, you will learn about some of these concepts. For now, here's a teaser with answers. If you would like to try some, you may. Good luck. Number 1. Identify. At the library, Gilly found 15 books on underwater life and brought 7 of these to the nearest table. What fraction of these books did she bring? Ready for your answer? Gilly brought 7/15 of the books to the nearest table. Number 2. Compare. By dinner time, Danielle had finished 5/7 of her questions from her history homework. Her friend Angie had finished 3/7 of the questions from her history homework. Who had finished the greater fraction of her questions? Danielle finished a greater fraction. 5/7 is greater than 3/7. Number 3. Add and subtract. You just baked a pan of brownies. You give 1/3 of the pan of brownies to Susan and 1/6 of the pan of brownies to Patrick. How much of the pan did you give away? How much is left? Answer. 1/3 plus 1/6 equals 1/2 of the pan. Also, 6/6, which is 1 pan, minus 1/3 minus 1/6 equals 1/2 of the pan. Number 4. Multiply and divide. Julie studied for 3/4 hours during the 4 days before her last test. If she studied for the same amount of time each day, how much time did she spend studying in total? 3/4 times 4 days equals 3 hours. Before we can learn that, check your understanding. What is a fraction? A fraction is a number that represents equal parts of a whole. What is a numerator? The number at the top of a fraction that tells you the number of parts you have of the whole. What is a denominator? The number at the bottom of the fraction that tells you the parts the whole is broken into. In our next lesson, think about what happens when fractions don't look like fractions. I hope you liked this video, and please subscribe to my channel.